Hi YouTube. Yeah, I'm right here. I had to angle the camera down a little bit so you guys can see this. I hope this don't take as long as it did last time, because about a month ago I did a video on a part one of this USB report removal that I was working on this dark board on. Remembered, I had everything laid out here. The heat gun, of course, you've seen, but I don't need the hot air station today. I went ahead and cleaned this port off quickly so I could solder this on. Now, I told you I was going to have to get this in the last video in China, but luckily I found one in Pennsylvania. About a month ago, I got this on May the 3rd. Got it here on May the 3rd from PA for like 10 bucks, I think 12 with tax, on eBay. And I did how to remove a USB port, part 1, 4/21/23 right there is when the production date of that part 1 is. Okay, and I got the port in on May the 3rd. The reason why it was a month ago since I did this, I was initially going to do it before then, but the car mods that I had to do, building and everything, I got kind of delayed in doing the video. No, this did not come from China. Initially, I told you I was going to maybe have to get it from China. It's the only seller I found it from. But right after a production date, I did find a seller out of Pennsylvania that had the same one, but it ran a little bit more in PA than it did China. If I'd have got in China, it would have been here until probably, I'm guessing, until probably, I'm saying it could have been here now, but from what they said, probably not till June or July-ish. So, you know, I'm getting ready to install the port now. Here's the board right here. I told you I was working on a part 1 right there. Okay, I just cleaned up the solder pads just before I aired this video today. The port I got is this one here. Now the legs on the side are supposed to solder in on the side right here. Okay. And the 4 pins are back here. But I may have to modify this leg, because the port is the same size. There's 4 pins in the rear right here. Those 4 pins are going to solder on with these 4 pins. But sometimes these go in the board and you solder them from underneath, but these are top side solder. So what we're going to have to do to modify this, I know it sounds crazy, but let me get me a pair of tweezers here. And yes, the alignment on these has to be perfect. What I did here was got some of these. It looks like staples, but they ain't. These are jumper wires that you may find on circuit boards of like TVs, electronics. Well, I had an old board in there I didn't need no more, and I took some jumpers off of those. So those are going to make up for the legs, and I'll show you how to do that. Some ports you get, it's hard to get the right port, sometimes the exact one, not unless you go through the manufacturer. A lot of times the original manufacturers ain't going to supply the parts. They'll want to supply the whole damn board. So aftermarket people come in and make these. And they can make them a little different than their name brand parts. Sometimes that's where it's called modifications to make it work. It's kind of like the modification for this to make it work is something like if you had a bad like solder trace and you had to use one of these jumper wires, a little thin piece of solder and some flux to fix the solder trace. Well, that's kind of how this is, but it's going to be a little different. And all these legs these ain't the contact legs, these are just the ground legs. Really, they're just the hold down legs. Act as the ground, but the hold down legs. These are your main pins back here. These do count, these 4, whatever style pins you got. Some of yours may have 4, some may have 5. I've seen some of these got in just one USB port already had a size of, I think, what was it, Lacey? 16 pins, I think. I've seen on eBay or something like that. Now this mod I'm going to show you, modification, will also work for micro charging ports, USBs, USB-Cs, and, different ports I'm about to show you. Okay, especially with the side legs. The back legs, we can take care of those. Alright, so we'll raise our magnifying up here, raise our little helper hand up here. Yeah, and I even got my microscope if I need it right there. Now see, that won't go down on the board. But we know there's the pins. We don't want that raised up, and it was flat. So, what we're going to do to modify this, and I do have tweezers, and it's a good idea to have those too, especially for the mods. Okay. What we're going to do is gently bend these pins straight. Okay. Straight as possible. Okay. There's 2. There's 3. And there's light. I mean, you just use minimum amount of, not even pressure at all. And you just take them all, get them lined up, put them on, and all the needle nose or tweezers or whatever you got. Now what we're going to do, before we proceed to do anything, alright, that's going to fit flush. Good. Alright. Now we're going to take the side pins. We may have to bend the sides out a little bit. Because sometimes there's slits in these, like little holes you can drop these in, but I didn't see none for this because I even use desoldering tools. Nothing. So we're going to bend these sides, and this is where the mod's going to come in. If I have to use a modification of these. But sometimes you have to work with these to get the pitch just right. Because sometimes these ports will not go in like you think. Now when we get to, sometimes you may have to flip the side pins, sometimes you may not. Just try with what works. If they don't work, I'll show you some secrets that will. So that looks like it's going to work. I got it flush. Alright. So what we're going to do is take, just lightly dip the back of that port in flux. Okay. I got some typing paper here. It's good for cleaning this stuff off. If you get excess on you don't want. Alright. So now what we're going to do, take a solder. Don't need much. Clean your solder tip off. It will help. Even if you do it like that, it cleans it. Alright, just take a little bit. Get a little bit of solder in there like so. Um, and we're gonna concentrate on the back pins first. Alright. Take one of these little poker things like to check joints with. You can use Q-tip if you like. You don't need much. It looks like a lot under a microscope or whatever you're using. But in reality, it ain't a lot. I mean, like sometimes you'll see like on videos, like on YouTube, different things people use. It looks like a shitload full of flux, shitload full of solder under a microscope. Yeah, when you're under a microscope, it's gonna look like a shitload. Okay. Now, want to have your soldering hand, and your soldering wick I do have too, also. But you want to take this with maybe some needle nose like this or tweezers, whatever you got. Kind of get this. You may need one solder helping hand, or you may not need the other one. This one here I might only need one with. But the alignment on that has to be perfect. So we'll make sure the solder tip's clean. This is a good idea. It looks like a little trash can, guys, but has like a Brillo pad in them. You could buy these on eBay, or you can even go to the Dollar General, I think, get these for $1. They're for dishes, but you can get them for like Brillo pads almost. So well, that's all for that. But that's pretty good there. Just take a little dab of this flux. Like I said, it looks like a lot under a microscope or magnifier, but no, it's not. It's very little. Alright. That all looks pretty good. Maybe add a little solder to these last two pins, but there we go. Alright, let that cools. Alright, right there's what it looks like, guys, so far. That's pretty goddamn straight. Alright. So what do we do about these back wires? Okay, these back legs. Right. Well, we think about it. We have room. See how to fix that. Take one of these jumpers like I told you. Okay. Alright, we're gonna have room to do this. Alright. So we're gonna take one of these jumpers. Alright. And we're gonna make our own little legs. Alright. So what we're gonna do, before we start, I just had to examine it. We're gonna take and flatten these legs down like so. We're gonna take one of those little wires. It's gonna be making a jumper for it. Okay. Ha! Popped right off the clip. You gotta get these just right. Alright. Flip this over first. We'll get the back leg. Alright, we're gonna make the first back leg here. We're gonna put a little flux. The leg. Okay. We're gonna add just a cunt hair solder on the leg. Okay. I'll take one of these wires. I'll show you how to modify these. They'll work, and they will work. Take one of these little wire doodads. Take a pair of needle nose, like the microscopic ones that I use. Dip a little bit in flux. Maybe get a little bit of solder going here. Alright. Got one leg going. Just wait till it cools. Now we gotta flip the part over. We gotta just gently, without destroying the goddamn wire. This is where a little pair of tiny wire nippers comes in. You just take, clip a piece off. Now we fix the solder of the leg to the board. Like that, you just fold it on and over. Put your alligator clip back. Got a little flux left on there. Checking tool. Basically, I use these picks for separating stuff or checking leads, make sure they're soldered right. I just had to fold the wire back over. Just let's see here. That works. USB should work fine. Yep, it goes right in the hole, as you can tell. Now we just grab the other leg here. You don't need much flux. This looks like a lot, but believe me, with a naked eye, it ain't. Take our soldering hot iron. I soldered like so. You could also make these jumpers out of lead wires and stuff. I've even done it out of old coax cables, speaker wires, different things. Add a little bit of flux to that. A dab of solder will work. Use our tweezers. Got holes. See, with this kind of stuff, and I'm not making fun of people who don't have nerve problems, Parkinson's disease, anything, bad nerves, but just letting you know straight away, you want to have good, steady hands and good, steady nerves for this kind of work. Just, being straight up with you. Right. On this one here, I did the back leg to the front, but hey, that's okay. course, all my work's guaranteed. Now he's got to do the front leg, which that ain't a problem. Oh, tweezers here. Yo, tweezers, where are you? There you are. Doesn't hurt to drop your solder and iron and flux every now and again. Oh yeah. Flip our over. Oh, we got plenty of wire here. We can just snip off. So have a flux. And have a solder ought to do it. Yeah, we're gonna clean all this up and inspect it under a scope. But I think, yeah, almost 30 minutes in, not bad at all. Oh, you want to take a do with the excess wire, no big deal. You can reuse that for the other leg. Just hold it and clip it back as far as you can. Like so. We still got a little bit left there. The ass end leg here. Alright. Which that ain't gonna be hard. Flux. And trust me, this repair ain't for anybody that don't know electronical knowledge, and I can't stress this enough, like I said in a video about a month ago. I can't stress this enough with people out there. Always, always have the right equipment before you do any soldering job, especially small, because you can screw stuff up, guys. You could maybe run your joints together and all that crap. And we're gonna clean this up too, you know, I mean. You got that last joint effects, but little flux. Bottom, because sometimes you heat the front up, the bottom will come off. what you do with the excess. Like that, don't leave it hang. Snowy snippet. So yeah, this here, guys, which I knew it was gonna take a while to do this. Got to modify this port to work. This was the part 2 of the video I just wanted to do for you. But, yep, that's the part 2 of the port there. I still gotta clean this up for you, show you what it looks like under a microscope, guys. So I just take that little piece of wire off, straighten it up a little bit, but it's a little bent in it. But is there enough to solder back on? Yes, there is. I just gotta re-straighten this. Did that for a reason. I just tested it, but I took it off, re-soldered it. Back in flux. I gotta clean this up a little bit here. I'll run the bedroom real quick, guys. Yet that one piece of wire, the damn thing, want to put it on there, the flew in the trash can. So give me a few, guys. That shit happens. Them wires are small. Hit right in the trash can. I'm kind of glad I did because that's where I got these wires at anyhow. It's no big deal. That's off of one of these old TV boards. All we do is find a jumper along the board. Yeah, let me see here. Or you can even use one of these like this. You have time, you just take a strip of sheet off the wire sometimes if you get lucky enough. I'll show you how to do this even without these wires. You don't really need to snip off one of those wires off the board. You can even, boy, now you can call me circuit board pants. Got it hooked to my shorts. You can use a piece like this too. I'll show you how to do this. Dip it flux. There we go. Now we got that fixed. I just bend it down like that. A lot of people may disagree with me on how you do stuff, soldering stuff, mods, but if it works, who gives a shit? So you pinch solder here, but or you take alcohol. May look weird under a microscope seeing this made like this, but get a part to work. Sometimes you gotta improvise, you know. A lot of electronic specialists use this techniques all the time. Put you up there. A little bit of alcohol like that on just regular paper. Typing paper. You can get a roll at Walmart cheap, you know, for adding machines like that. Best thing over cotton, because cotton likes to stick a lot. Snip a little excess off right here. We're pretty much done here, guys. Let me just clean off my pick here. Damn, jeans, starting to tip on me. What I use these picks for, you could use it for flux, whatever. I generally do. I don't give a fuck. I never hardly use cotton in these because you got cotton tangles in them and shit. But what I normally do with these flux, or these picks, as you call it, is I'll set their probe each pin to make sure they're fastened right. To make sure they're not loose anywhere in the make sure they're not loose anywhere. Make sure all the pins are tight. And my friend, look how strong that is. I don't make my shit weak, guys. Okay. And today we just use one of these little diagonal cutters, as I call it. Some needle nose, you know. Some rosin core solder wire from Japan, or China, or whatever, 6040. The tip cleaner for your soldering iron. Toothbrush makes a good cleaner for electronics instead of using a lot of times cotton. Pair of tweezers. Solder sucker. Yeah, like I said, tweezers. Flux. A helping hand with the light microscope. Or a magnifying glass, sorry about that. Some solder wick braid. And stuff. Now this here ran off of batteries, and I got tired of putting batteries in it. And they made the cord really short at the trailer. Right here, so you could see it. They made the cord really short. I took an old cell phone cord that I had, soldered it right into the existing cord for the light. Right here, I'll try to show you this. It's controlled by USB. Right there. All I did was use some heat shrink on some wires, fitted the wires together. That's how short the damn plug was for that helping hands lace they got me. I was kind of disappointed on the cord size, and I got a brain idea one day. Well, I got an old cell charger. I'm just gonna cut it into the fucking cord. And look, it works. Alright, we're gonna layer flux over here, guys. And this repairing for the faint of heart. Okay. You gotta really, like I said, I can't stress this enough. You gotta have good soldering equipment, good solder, skills, know-how, and the right stuff, you know, to do it with. Stick this under a magnifier here. Let's zoom this in here, see how we all did. Yeah, see guys, look. I don't know if you can see that or not, but looks perfect. All the pins are soldered correctly, none of them soldered together. I made those legs work. Right there is what the part looks like, guys. Nice and strong. But we'll do a final examination here, but get focused. Perfect, guys. And that's the microscope we use, too. Here at the shop, but, just going to show you this works. And I ain't got the darter board plugged in yet, so it's for, like, a laptop. I just needed a new USB port to it, because the last one was real loose. Just going to show you it plugs in. They don't come loose. Look how tight that is. Not loose at all. Okay. But anyhow, guys, it was my pleasure on doing the part 2. Sorry it took a month. No, it did not take that long for the part to come in. But I got stuck doing that car too. I didn't have quite enough time to do this video. I had to part in the second dresser drawer with the darter board in a little cardboard box. Everything went well with this procedure. I had to do a lot of cleaning on this board, but that company had a shitload full of solder on it. Remember, anytime this company does this kind of work, a lot of times they don't solder it by hand. A lot of times it's because it'll take forever. Generally, how they do it is when they get all the parts on a board, they flux it. They put these solder plates on, like thin solder plates, and they stick them in a special soldering oven, and once they put it in that oven, it bakes everything all at once, solders everything all at once. And a lot of times the robot, boop, 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 also does it too with the robotic. They bake them or do it by or robot. For us here at the shop, now it takes a while because you got to solder this stuff by hand. Doing it by hand, cleaning, soldering, fluxing, takes a lot longer than a robot or one other type ovens in a factory. But we got that repaired. Hopefully that'll stay for a while. No more. I mean, yeah, I could have bought a new darter board. I can buy another one for like $7 to $10 on eBay. But to show you how to do a tech video one time on how to repair these, I never did one, but I know how to do them just by say. That's my first tech video on repairing, putting a new USB port on a darter board. As you can see, daughter board. That also is your card reader right there for like a HP. There's nothing wrong with the card reader. It was the port. Every time you put something in it, you bumped it wrong, it would disconnect something. So I got a new one put on, so hopefully that'll work for a while. But yeah, it seems like everything it did here worked well, so nothing's loose here. I double checked, all the pins are tight, everything looks good. But went well. Thanks for watching the part 2. I'll upload the video, guys, here after I get off there and get everything put away here. Then I'll upload the video. But I want to say thanks for your support and stuff. Sorry about the month wait on doing this. I ordered it from Pennsylvania for $10. I could have ordered a lot more of them from China for more money, or for the same amount of money, but all I needed was one port to replace this with. Hopefully it's the last one for a while, because it's time consuming cleaning these, replacing them. But anyhow, guys, watch Lacey's channel, mine and the cats. Like, subscribe, and always comment, or I'll suck you in my solder sucker. Anyhow, there's your dinner. You know how to do one now. If the legs don't quite match up on the sides, it's the back that counts. The sides you can make work. You just use wires like I showed you and solder them kind of like you would. Doing solder traces along the board. That's basically what I did. A little extra trace work to connect into it to make it work. All the ports will look alike, but you got to count the legs in the rear and on the side. Some has 2 on the side, some has 4. Some are flat, some are laying down, some are standing straight up. But that's the name of the game when you get in these port changes. sometimes it's hard to get them matched right from the factory. When you're making them aftermarket, something like a car part, there's always a modification maybe you have to do or don't have to do to make that part work correctly. But like I said, I can't stress enough, use the right tools, like what I've got here, and have a microscope and maybe some helping hand with a light and a magnifier too to help you. Saves you time and money when you do it yourself. A port change like this in a shop could run you at a repair shop like $10 for the port per se, and they might charge you $20 to $30 for the damn port to make that high profit. Then to change it, yeah, you'd be talking about $80 to $100 maybe to replace this. I know if it's an HDMI port and a PlayStation 4 or 5, whatever, I heard a lot of shops could change them for $125 to $200. So that's what I'm saying. Spend a little bit, buy yourself some equipment like what I got, and you'll be saving you some money. But anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and thumbs it up. Never fear, your tech is always here for you, and I can always figure out ways to modify stuff that people don't know how to do. But till the next time, happy USB HDMI port charging, port changing. Now you know how to do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Just have the equipment, knowledge, and a steady hand. But talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.